It's your boy Taco Phil here. So I just got back from the first the first part of my run. So I just did the run, and I mean it wasn't that big a deal. I enjoy the run. I get to do some fun driving. A lot of people don't like my run because you're driving at night, and even worse, you're driving through the mountains. I don't know why people just don't like they don't like driving through the mountains. They don't like driving at night. I enjoy it. I enjoy it more, especially than driving, to like Phoenix or Vegas, because for me, you're just driving on a long, flat surface. You're basically just trying to keep the bus straight for a good amount of hours, and that stuff is just mind-numbingly boring to me. Like I love the Reno run because with the Reno run, you got to drive. You got to you're going through mountains, you're going through terrain. You got to actively drive the bus. I've never felt like tired or sluggish doing the Reno run. With same thing with this Arcata run. With the Arcata run, the first part of it, you're on a little highway, and then it starts, taking you through the redwoods, taking you up through the hills. You got to drive. You can't just sit back and just cruise. You can't. I couldn't even turn on the cruise control half of the way, or shit, 90% of the time I couldn't even turn on cruise control. So I'm enjoying it. It takes a while to get used to the hours. I'm still getting used to it. I don't know if you can see bags in my eyes. It might just be the shadow. But it definitely takes a good minute to get used to, I mean, any job where you got to work graveyard. When I work security, graveyard's the worst job you can get. But one of my favorite things about it, though, is unlike most runs, I'm always early. So it's like free money. I love it. You know, because every run I've done today, this week, uh, driving at those hours and through, LA to San Francisco to Arcata and back, each run, I was like over an hour early. Yeah, an hour early. Just little to no traffic, just strategic driving and, just keeping it nice and smooth. I had one of my instructors, he told me one of the best and smoothest drives you can get is a ride where you don't have to hit the brake. So I use, a combination of light braking, engine brake, gear management, to where if I'm driving through the hills, if I'm driving, on a highway and there's a lot of traffic, um, I want to use as little brake as possible. I want to keep it nice and smooth. I want to, decelerate at a nice, smooth, controlled rate, but still get a good amount of tension and control. I want to. So I've gotten a good amount of compliments where people are like, "Your driving's really good. You're real smooth." I didn't even realize we were there because it was just so smooth. I fell asleep. I love watching people fall asleep when I'm driving because that means I'm doing it right. That means I'm doing it right. Yeah. Now, I will tell you this. They tell you when you're working the extra board, sure, you're on call. Sure, you can be called at any time. You're going to lose a lot of sleep. You're going to be away from home. But when you get that run, you're going to feel it in the pocket. You're going to feel it in the pocket. I mean, I'll be honest. After seeing that first check from my run, I'm seriously just thinking I might go back to the extra board and just try to navigate the extra board because literally, if I did this run on the extra board, I'd make like $200 to almost $300 more. Yeah, with the second rest, with all that other stuff, I'd make it. The only thing that, like I said, makes it really worth it for me personally is the you definitely get a lot more time off. When I go to San Francisco, I have 16 hours to just kill. I get some sleep. I woke up and I still had time to kill. There was no mystery as to when I was getting up, and that was cool. It was every day. Even when I felt tired, it wasn't a matter of oh fuck I'm tired and I know I'm gonna have to wake up, because they might call me at 2 in the morning or whatever. No, it was I'm tired. I got this many hours. I'm gonna sleep. So it was easier to manage. It was nice to, be like, I'm going to sleep. Let me set my alarm. I'm going to go eat. I'm going to go relax. It was one of the few times that, I honestly, in Oakland and San Francisco and freaking Arcata, I had so much time on my hands between my runs that I went and explored. I literally went when I was in Arcata. I just walked around the downtown area and I talked to some of the locals and some of the shop owners. I introduced myself. I like the small town feel and vibe. So I let them know. I was like, hey, because I'm gonna be doing this regular run and it's just cool to know people. And I went and I had some. They had some this like ramen place, where I guess they just it was all right. It wasn't my favorite, but I like a good bowl of ramen. So that's one of the cooler things I enjoy about it. And it's nice and quiet. It's definitely the small run. I think when I went up to Arcata, there's a lot of stops, but they're all small towns. Most of the stops, nobody got off. Most of the people got off in let's see, what was it? San Rafael, and there was another San. I can't remember the name of it right now. But I only had like I don't know if you can hear that. It's a damn cat. I had like he's coughing up a hairball. Yeah, in those stops, I only had like three people get off, and then most of the people went straight up to Eureka, and Arcata. So going up, I only had like I think like 10 people, or no, I had 18 people, and only four of them got off, in like the first few stops, and pretty much all of them went to like Eureka and Arcata. So it was cool. So with one of the reasons I was early is because the manifest said I wasn't picking anybody up, nobody was getting off, so I just blew through those stops. You know, sometimes you got to be careful because if you blow through the stop, I've definitely had stops where people bought tickets at the last minute. So what I'll do is, I won't like stay on the highway. I'll come off and I'll cruise through there real slowly, knowing that I'm not expecting anybody. I'll check my manifest real quick and I'll go. So instead of, killing 10 minutes, waiting, loading passengers, putting bus in gear, getting ready. No, I just cruise through there, I stop for 1 second, I check my manifest, 0, complete, and I go. A stop that would have taken me 10 minutes takes me 1 minute. So that's cool, But again, even though I am taking a hit and pay, so for example, normally if I would have done this run, I might have picked up some extra work or, with the second rest and meals, I would have gotten easily probably about $1,000 for this run net. Not, yeah, net pay. It would have been about $1,000 after taxes. I would have gotten maybe like $890, almost $900, give or take. But being a regular run driver, so far I'm only slated to pull in, I think, like $800 net. So instead of making, like 890, I'm only slated to make like 600 and change, a little under 700. So it's definitely a pay hit, But I'm still at base pay, so hopefully that'll come up, and then that'll make it a little even more worth it. But again, one of the coolest things is you just get that time. I'm home. I I was able to make an appointment a week in advance because I knew where I would be. I got a flight lesson tomorrow, and I got just 2 days off. It's great. I got home. I got to pick up my bike from the shop. I had some electrical problems I got fixed. Freaking, I started working on my Beetle again. Even though I'm making less money, it really feels when you have a regular run going from the extra board like you got days off. Before I started my run, it fell on my days off, and I had 2 days off. It felt like I was home for a week. I got so much done. I got like laundry. I cleaned. I fucking worked on my bike. Worked on my girl's bike. Fucking, played video games. I had games sitting on my computer for like damn near a month. I was able to get through because it just seemed like I had so much time, and then now I have time. So that it encouraged me to manage my life a little bit more and take that time off. So I figured I'd give you guys this update. I'm gonna do another video here in a second, and hopefully I'll upload it at the same time, where I want to talk about an important thing, and that's money. I got a shock. I'm gonna let you guys know. So, watch my next video if you're curious about my money issues. It's tax time and they're pissing me off right now. All right, so I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah.